I think I'm always overthinking.
Oh, man. But isn't everybody so lonely in Bombay? Especially people like me.
You're not a psycho. We don't label ourselves. We don't cancel ourselves. No. Do you think it could be fear-based? Having open relationships? One story, one downfall, one epic comeback. This is not a podcast. This is an uncancellation ritual because we don't believe in cancellation. Welcome to Cancelled to Crowned with Sohini. Unafraid yet rooted in warmth, he carries balance in both strength and vulnerability. Please welcome the ever genuine Sahil Salathia. Hi, Sahil.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming to Cancel to Crown with Sohini. I have been closely watching your journey and I love how you're navigating it.
Thank you.
I came across a story just the other day where you said that you're dealing with something personal and you're still showing up for work.
Oh, yeah. That was just 3 days ago, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I found it so beautiful how you integrated both.
Yeah.
You know, as a psychologist, I believe that it's not either or. I feel like we need to be inclusive of ourselves in the whole.
Right.
There's the feeling, there's the heart, there's the mind. You know, there's all of us. And it can't be either or.
Sure, yeah.
How do you integrate both?
I think when you're a human being, you've got to integrate all the emotions that you're feeling, firstly. This whole idea of being always happy, always positive, it works for some, it hasn't worked for me. I think if I'm not feeling that great, I'll push myself to feel better and show up.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to negate the fact that I'm not feeling that great. I'll try my level best to feel the best that I am at that moment with that little elevation that I push myself to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I involve whatever I'm feeling authentically, but still show up.
Yeah. Right? All our feelings need their time to be processed.
100%. Yeah.
Or eventually they will show up.
Yeah. Sometimes you can't bottle up what you're feeling for too long. You have to, that's why they say, I don't know, a lot of people think you should meditate and it'll really help. In my case, meditation hasn't really helped me. I'm not the guy. I have too much energy. I'm like a bunny on steroids. Like not steroids, but you know what I mean. And I have too much energy, yeah. So for me, working out, man, like go to the gym, I feel so much better. Sometimes if I'm not feeling that good, and if I hit the gym, go for my class, my Pilates also I've started now. I'm probably the first Indian man now, I think, to do Pilates.
Lovely.
Because I wanted some change in my fitness routine. And it always helps me.
Wow. It's so important to be aware of what helps us, whatever works,
100%.
right? As long as we can process, release, and deal with ourselves holistically.
Right.
What you posted was vulnerable.
Yeah.
It was an expression of your inner self.
Yeah.
Do you think vulnerability can be a strength?
Honestly, each to his own, I would say, because I can probably say yes. I think it's a form of strength when you can be honest or vulnerable or vulnerably honest or honestly vulnerable. It works for me, but maybe not for everybody.
How does it work for you?
I mean, because for me, it's very important to just say what I feel, honestly feel. Maybe not start the whole Ram Katha, but just say it. I don't know if you saw something called Traitors that I did. What happened to me on that show was very personal to me because how I was killed in the show or how I was murdered was very personal to me because it came from a very close friend. But then I went and spoke about it. I was like, I have to talk about it. And yes, and I haven't said this before, but see, I know, I'll tell you now when you say bullying, we were speaking about,
yes.
Right? Now, if somebody's speaking his heart out with what happened to him, and you send him a legal notice that you can't talk about us, you are trying to bully the person. Did I take my footage out? No. I hired a lawyer and we went further. Then of course, then the other person like, oh no, I'm sorry, whatever. But I'm saying sometimes people just want to bully you. If you're vulnerable, if you're honest, they want to bully you. Because why are you bringing the honest side out? Why can't we just let it go? Just let it be. So for me, it always works. I'm always vulnerable, always honest to the max I can be, and it
Yeah.
works for me.
To be able to be vulnerable, we need to have the inner resources. And for that, we need to work on building them, right? Have you always been this vulnerable, or is it something you developed over time?
I've always been like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, now I'm toning myself down. Otherwise, I've always been like this. I've always, if I felt something, I say it. And what is, for me, vulnerability is what you're really feeling within and you say it.
Yeah.
But the idea is not to hurt others or it's not to harm others. It's just to probably put your side of the story out. I've always been like that.
Wow. It's so beautiful to hear that,
Yeah.
Because masculinity and vulnerability usually should
Yeah.
not go hand in hand.
Yeah.
As per the norms
Yeah.
of society and old conditioning and beliefs.
But I feel I'm probably, have you seen how I dress?
It's gorgeous.
Yes. So you could see me in pink socks, but that doesn't make me less of a man than a man sitting there in gray socks. In fact, I think I'm probably the most comfortable man in my masculinity right now. Why? Because I know what I stand for, and I'm very chill with it. I'm very inspired by the actors in the West for this particular reason. They are having fun. They also have society norms, not as stupid as our society, but there are norms there.
Yeah.
They're having fun. Have you seen how Johnny Depp shows up at a premiere? He'll show up with a black nail paint. If I did that here for film fair, there was a ruckus. There was too much noise around it. It's just somebody having fun. There's nothing masculine or feminine as such. To a certain extent, there is, of course, some feelings I could say like women essentially are emotionally more evolved, more intelligent. That doesn't mean men are dumb. Like they're also supposed to be emotionally strong if you not work on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, physically, I feel, men are just built like a sand. So obviously, or, like we are obviously. I get that. But women also, these are very, very strong. If you see so many powerlifters are women, man. So many marathon runners are women. They have more energy. In fact, they are healthier till they die. Like men kind of lose, like they lose our grip by 40s, 50s, then it's all downhill because we don't essentially work on it. Too many bad habits, bad lifestyle, all of that. So I think I'm the kind of guy who's really in touch with his feminine side. Taking care of yourself in India or is probably effeminate or feminine. Like if you see our leading men from 90s or 80s, they looked a certain way. They had that, I haven't showered look, right? Like if you look at, I'm being very honest. If you look at Sunil Shetty, he looks like somebody he's started grooming himself because he's got wonderful kids. Earlier, if you see, like all the guys, Sanjay Dutt, what an icon. Like I'm a fan. I was with him in Panipat. But he has that look. He has that, I'm a macho guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the idea.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge Sanjay Dutt fan, by the way, and he's one of the nicest guys in person also. But he has that look. You can't give him a yellow shirt and he'll wear a yellow shirt. He'll say, hey, you know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So because again, pink is probably a feminine color. I think for men it's easy. It's nice if you're more chill, yeah. Like I mean, you're not going to be less of a man if you just like slightly softer or cleaner or have more of a emotional quotient to yourself.
Absolutely.
It doesn't make you less masculine.
I think
Guys, the domestic violence will be lesser. There'll be lesser assholes. I think we've always trained our guys to be like, "Tu thoda na rob mein rahe.
Yeah.
Thoda na ek baja de isko." That's how we talk. Our movies are so stupid. 90%. You're chasing the girl. वो नहीं बोल रही है, बात नहीं कर रही है, करते रहो, तंग करते रहो. गानों में भी say वो ना कर रही है, मतलब हाँ है. Because it's just a bunch of idiots who've come to make films.
Correct.
Anybody who's intelligent can entertain you without really making that a class or a master class on ridiculing women. Like, even if you see so many films right now. Okay, there was a Nawazuddin Siddiqui film. If you find the footage, please put it. It's very valid. He pushes a girl, abuses a girl, and then there is a music which is so like, it'll give you a high. That kya kaam kiya Nawaz ne?
Ah.
That's
So it's validating the aggression.
exactly. Like you can show the aggression. Animal also was a film about aggression, but again, that might get too much. We get too deep into it. But I think sometimes we validate the idea of this fake masculinity too much. You know, like this gali galoch is a form of being cool and macho.
You know, feelings and emotions are primal.
Yeah.
You're born with them.
Mm.
You know,
Mm.
if you're taught to disconnect from it,
Yeah.
then it will manifest either ways.
Right.
So the only way to have a healthy expression of the emotions and the feelings that you're going through is by being in touch with them.
100%. Yeah.
So well said.
Yeah.
When you're in touch with your emotions, you show up better.
100%.
You know, the violence is less.
Yeah. Yeah.
You carry your manliness with such beauty.
Wow.
You know, it's strong, it's tender, it's all of it.
Yeah.
What role have your parents played in shaping you into the man you are today?
First of all, thank you. That was very sweet. Beauty and all, huh?
Yeah.
I think my parents like this. Firstly, I'm still a child, but not a man child. Like I'm not that obnoxious Indian man child. But to a certain extent, I'm still a child to my parents. Like they are also children to me. Like it's like a dual role.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
That's so sweet.
Yeah. So we are essentially very dependent on each other. I'm though very dependent on my mom and dad. You know, at an emotional level, not on other levels. Like I discuss my smallest wins with them, or joy, oh, I did this, and oh, I was in Italy, this was so nice, I wish you were here. And I actually feel bad that shit, I saw this, they didn't see this. That's the kind of relationship I have with them. So whatever I do today, or whatever I am today, even at a personal, emotional level or human level, of course, a lot to do with them. Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Like it should be, yeah.
Do you want to share a story?
Story? Like I was just talking to my mom before I came here. I was cribbing about the traffic, and then I was like, I want to come to Jammu. मैं सोचा मैं आ जाता हूँ हफ्ते में. So it's a very day-to-day personal attention that we give to each other.
That's so wonderful. It's so important to have that connect,
Yeah,
emotional connect with a human.
100%. Yeah.
No, and with your parents, nothing like it.
Yeah.
I often tell my son that it's okay for you to cry. It's okay to be in touch with your emotions. And,
Yeah.
you know, he tells me, he says, you're hurting my feelings. I don't see why you need to scream at me. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm overwhelmed and I'm thinking about too many things.
Yeah.
So he says, okay, that's fine, but don't speak to me like that again. It upsets me. And he's 9.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, yes, win
Yeah.
as a mother.
Yeah.
You know.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So I hope he also grows up to be well in touch with his emotions like you were.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure he will be. He's got mom like you there.
What part of Jammu still stays with you in Mumbai?
Everything. I'm obsessed with Jammu. I'll tell you a reason. Because I grew up there, right?
Yeah.
Whenever you grew up in any city, that'll always be like the closest to your heart, essentially. So everything, man. The food tastes better there. Fruits are better.
The lassi.
Lassi, yeah. Lassi is great too.
Jammu lassi.
Lassi is more like, I'll say more Punjab, but okay, Jammu also has decent lassi, good lassi. Then there's a thing called kaladi, which you get there.
Okay.
So it's like, I'm not a chef, but you just put it in bread and you have it like a snack with chai. Sham ko, that's a thing which you don't get here. And just the fact that, we have a house there which has space. In Bombay, also I have a nice house, but I mean, Bombay houses are Bombay houses. It's like a kabutar khana, like it's like tiny.
I would have never grown up here.
Yeah,
I've grown up in Bombay.
of course, yeah. So
My home is a palace for me.
I know, even my home, Bombay home is like a palace, but I mean, it's still less space, right? Any big city like Bombay, New York, or even London for that matter, they have tiny houses.
Yeah.
For that price, you're going to get a much bigger house in, say, Jammu.
Yeah.
So there, the space is so much, we have enough place to jump around with the dogs. We have 3 dogs there.
Wow.
So yeah, these are the things I miss, and I keep going back to Jammu every 4-5 months to get it.
To reconnect with your roots,
Yeah.
with your inner child.
Yeah, inner child.
What happens to him when you go back there?
The inner child is jumping a lot. Like I feel so much happier. I'm more me. Little things feel better, taste better, sound better, and yeah, that's the magic of your hometown. That's the magic of your family being around or your hometown, yeah, essentially.
Yeah. Did your inner child, that a little boy, Sahil, want to come to Bombay and become an actor?
No, it was never the plan. Actually, I was doing my BTech in Chandigarh and just started modeling for fun because Delhi was next door. I would go on weekends. I was doing pretty okay. Back then, you know, I'm talking about like 10 years ago when that time Instagram wasn't a thing. Everybody wasn't like a very beautiful being on Instagram. You know, like everybody's so stunning on Insta. Everybody's like,
Well said.
yes, everybody's like an Instagram model, so to say, or an Instagram sensation,
Yeah.
so to say. So then if you were on a billboard, you were it. Now nobody looks at billboards, right? I essentially don't look at billboards because even advertising has changed. Now if you see me as a talent or as an actor, artist, what is my major source of income? It's Instagram. Because so many ads come to me on Instagram. They want me to just shoot for their brand. Like, of course, there's a team. And it's just like making an ad film for Instagram and not for television or not for the billboard.
Yeah.
Then billboards were a thing. So I used to be on billboards. It was very exciting. And then I did this ad for Samsung laptops. And I went to Bangkok and all of that. I was very excited because when you're in college, you're like, मैं तो Bangkok जा रहा हूँ ad shoot करने, you know, पैसे भी मिल रहे हैं and all of that.
Yeah.
When I came back, it was quite a cool ad. Ashutosh Gowarikar sir's team saw it. Nalini Ratnam was the casting director. She saw it, called me for the test. I said, I'm not going to fly to Bombay to audition, right? Like I don't want to burn my air ticket money.
Yeah.
So they're like, we will fly you. I was like, wow. And then I came here. Then they did this with me for like 3 to 4 months. I kept coming, going, testing. I said, अब लेना है मेरे को तो लो. If you don't want to take me, don't take me. It's okay because from Chandigarh I go to Delhi, then I come to Bombay. But then I booked the job. I did a show called Everest. That was my first series. Mr. Gowarikar made it. Rahman Saab gave the music. I was a protagonist. There were 3 protagonists. I was one of them. So that's how it started. I hadn't even been to acting school. So they booked me without being, so to say, an acting student. After that, I did acting school. I was pretty good in the show. Not that I was dull. People who've seen Everest, please write below that I was really good. I was really good, I think, because we did get some awards as well.
I did see parts of it and you were really good.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, approved. तुम्हें लिखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Then I went to acting school. I went to Barry John. Barry sir से ही मैंने सीखा फिर. And it was great. And then it started, man. Then I did POW for Nikhil Advani. And it just started. So being an actor wasn't really
Part of the plan.
And in fact, now I don't know if you ask me in 2025, I don't think being an actor is really a thing anymore, unless you're a star kid. Like I think only a Varun Dhawan, a Tiger Shroff, Arjun Kapoor, like they are, or Ranbir Kapoor. You know, these are the guys who are working only in films. Or maybe let's say they're also doing ads for Instagram. They're doing all of that. But I'm saying of course, I'm doing another acting series. I did Traitors before showing up here. Then I did Adhura for Nikhil Advani for Amazon. I have enough acting credits. But am I going to recommend this to the young kid in Jammu or in wherever, Nagrota or Agra, that, hey, come to Bombay, be an actor? No. And what has really gotten me the eyeballs, my acting work's always been decent. It's never been bad. It's been good. But it's basically, I would say, fashion. Or I would say it's Instagram. It sounds very, very shady or shallow, but it's true. Even today, when I travel to airports, I go anywhere, people say, hey, man, I love your this thing on Instagram. You know what? That's the power of being an artist. When you don't put yourself under an umbrella, hey, I'm just an actor. It's always better to have a bigger, bracket and play with it. Priyanka Chopra, man.
Yeah.
She wasn't an acting student when she did her first film. Then now, if you see, essentially, she's, of course, an icon. But she did have a YouTube channel after Bollywood. She didn't have to do that. She did get into singing with Pitbull. She didn't have to do that. Then she went on to do a TV series in the US when she was a big screen girl here.
Yeah.
So you have to learn from people like her when you're an outsider. That when you have a bunch of talents, use them all, give it your 100%, because there might be a film that you're really good for.
Yeah.
Or they won't take you, they'll take somebody else because, for whatever reason. So that's what I feel. Like when I started acting, it was never a part of the plan happened. So now also when I'm doing things, nothing's a part of the plan. I take it by a day, by a month, maybe 2 months, and I'm just having fun. And I'm giving it my 100%.
It's so important to have fun
Yeah.
to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you will hit that roadblock.
Yeah.
You will feel work isn't coming in.
Yeah.
You may question, do I belong here or not? Have you ever questioned it?
Unfortunately, I'm a very confident guy. That's the problem. Like when you spend more time with me, when anybody here will spend more time with me, they'll feel that iska thoda problem hai. Iska confidence bahut zyada hai. Yeah, no, I've never felt like I don't belong here. Even if I see the problems that are there in entertainment right now, but that's not for me to solve. That's for everybody else also to figure out, right? And as an industry also, I think a lot of people are struggling now to release things, yeah?
Yeah.
Because people are watching Hindi stuff, right? Like because there's such interesting stuff that's coming from the US, the UK, even Spain now.
Yeah.
The Korean shows are so good now. So now, if you give me if I'm a 18 or 19-year-old girl, I'm recently in a relationship, I'm going to watch a Korean show, man, because they are showing love stories beautifully.
Yeah.
Why will I watch something that we are because now accessibility is so much. So yeah, so I feel it's each to his own. Yeah.
So you're saying that to be able to stand out, we have to find that one thing that we're good at. There's no formula.
Yes, and be authentic. Like how I dress, how I speak, how I make people feel hopefully good and not bad. It's all authentic. Like there's never any facade.
Yeah.
If it comes naturally to me. Now what doesn't come naturally to me is ऐसे बात पे गाली दे देना. अभी तो मैं बोल भी नहीं पाऊंगा यहाँ पे. But if you see 90% of the Indian men, that's how we function. अगर आप 2-3 लाइनों के बाद एक गाली डाल दोगे ना, you'll become more relatable. Unfortunately, that's a trend on even social media. Like because there are very less barriers कि ये नहीं डाल सकते, वो नहीं डाल सकते. People are abusing left, right, and center just to make it more relatable.
Yeah.
And it does. People do relate to it better. So that is something that doesn't come naturally to me. Like I can't just abuse at the drop of a hat. I can do it for a role. But all the roles then that come to me are very me. It happens to all of us. All the roles that I have there are from a certain section of the society. I've never played a very underprivileged guy. Let's put it that way. I would love to do that because I've grown up in Jammu, not underprivileged, but I know the small town nuances and all of that. Yeah.
Right. How does that boy who didn't imagine you to be an actor today feel when he looks at you or when you look back at him?
Yeah. Happy.
Yeah?
Happy, yeah. And that little boy tells me not to be so... I'm not saying I'm a perfectionist, but I try to do things perfectly. They might not be perfect, but at least I try. So I stress too much. So I think that boy was telling me that everything's gone fine, so now relax. Yeah. You can just take it easy.
And you listen to him. Are you able to?
Little bit.
My little girl tells me to relax very often, and I find myself fighting her more often than not.
I will not relax.
I said, no, I've got to do this and I've got to do that and I have to write one more book and plan for season 2 now and do this and do that and my clients and, and no time to relax.
Yeah, I mean, similar story. I think I'm always overthinking. Yeah, so I'm telling the little boy the same thing.
Yeah. Are you telling him that I'm not going to listen to you or I don't have the luxury of listening to you?
I mean, because we're all built a certain way. Now, I think when you grow up, then you formed a basic personality, I feel.
Yeah.
You can change it, they say, but it's too much work.
Yeah, and also where you're coming from. Like my overthinking comes from a space of survival. Like I feel if I slow down, I might lose out on survival, which is like an auto in my head.
Yeah.
And it's probably not that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, if I slow down now,
Yeah.
then I can't survive because I need to do this and I need to stay here and I need to achieve this and I might not be okay if I slow down. So that's where mine comes from.
Right.
You know.
So mine won't be survival essentially, but like I said, I would probably be like, hey, I want to be impactful in a good way. Let's call it that. Let's not call it perfection because I don't think that exists. Yeah, to be impactful. So to do enough homework for everything in terms of how to do it, how to show up, not to show up, etc., etc. So there's too much planning that goes on in my head. Yeah.
Right.
So I think
So you want to give your best version.
I try to, yeah. I try to.
Yeah, that too. That too. Even I overwork and overthink to give the best I can.
Sure.
And when I say survival, I mean like emotional survival over
Yeah.
the other forms of survival.
Yeah.
But I feel like this kind of perfection also comes with a loneliness.
Yeah. Oh man. But isn't everybody so lonely in Bombay? Especially people like me, because my family's in Jammu. Of course, I have amazing set of friends. Before I get jute from them, I'm always at their house. But lonely, yeah, that's a very interesting word. I mean, I don't know, man. I feel in big cities like Bombay, people who are entertainers or artists or whatever, and this is not their hometown and essentially haven't grown up here. Yeah, it could be a thing. I'm not lonely, so to say, but I mean, there is definitely that void that, hey, it'll be amazing if my family was here.
Yeah.
But then I'm very difficult to live with also. So it's not that I can live with a friend, you know what I mean? Like, then I need my personal space also.
Yeah.
So I'm only a psycho, I think.
No, you're not a psycho. We don't label ourselves. We don't cancel ourselves. No.
Yeah.
We just like things your way.
I think so, yeah.
And how do you cope with this loneliness or this void that you feel?
Yeah. Honestly, if you see the last 2-3 months, I haven't had time to breathe. Like, it's been too busy. But that also happens, right? Like, when you're very busy, you never have time to think about, hey, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm working on it. I don't think the void is so strong that I'm working on it. And I wouldn't call myself lonely, essentially, but I would say, yes, there is enough time that can be spent with a lot more people of worth and value.
You think loneliness is a disconnect with the self?
Yeah, sure. Now when you say it, makes sense because you should be self-sufficient, technically. So if you're not really in touch with your inner self, if you don't know what you really want, then you could probably feel lonely. Yeah, more.
And then someone else can't fill that void because
Of
it's an
course.
internal, I find that a lot of times we need our inner resources.
Right,
We're trained to reach out to external resources.
right.
But sometimes we may not have enough inner resources. That's when we need our external resources.
Right.
Right?
Makes sense, yeah.
So it's such a strange
Yeah.
balance that we have to, like, it's like walking on a tightrope.
Yeah, yeah,
A tightrope of loneliness or aloneness.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, makes sense. If you work more on yourself, you'll probably feel more filled or fulfilled or happier. Yeah, less lonely. Yeah.
So like there's food, in my opinion, 4 pillars: food, clothing, shelter, and relationships. One with the self and one with your outer world.
Interesting.
They've forgotten to add that
Yeah, very
in
nice.
your basics,
Yeah,
right?
very interesting. Yeah.
Like your void comes from your family not being here.
Yeah. Exactly. Or to have more noise in the house.
Yeah.
I like that. Or have more chehel pehl in the house. You know, lots of nach gana happening all the time. I'm that kind of guy.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, like I said, because I've been so busy, everybody's busy in their lives. It's not that I'm the only man busy on the planet. But when you kind of caught up and there are too many commitments, or you're doing good, or however you want to put it, okay, great in life, or whatever the terminology is, then essentially sometimes you forget. And then when you get time, then you're like, oh, now these 2 days I'm feeling very like lonely. Because after 40 days of constant work or travel or so many people on your head. And in our job, you meet so many new people all the time.
Yeah.
So there are different segments, I feel. It's like a graph. You know, it'll go up and then it'll come down, it'll go up and it'll come down. But I think when the graph comes down, that's when you need to get in touch with the inner resources, like you said.
Yeah.
To
So
think
either I'm lonely or I'm resting.
Ah,
Look,
nice.
we have control over our narrative.
Yeah. Resting, yeah. That's the one.
But do I really want to rest?
No.
Why?
I like to be always on the go. Always, yeah.
What will happen if you rest? I love the way I'm asking you this question.
Yeah.
So much confidence.
Yeah.
I don't rest too much,
Yeah.
but still.
I don't know. I always like to be on the go. I always like when there are too many things happening. Maybe now it's on autopilot here. Like that's what makes me feel alive. You know, you feel alive when you are living life the way you like it. Like some people like it very low key, chill, and probably work 4 days a week or 2 days a week or whatever. But I like it when it's very busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so much fun. You're also exploring so many facets of yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So being on the go with awareness or not,
Yeah.
I think is what changes the game. Self-awareness.
Yeah. And I think self-awareness also comes when you work on yourself, right? When you constantly, like you said, you have to constantly work on yourself. Like a lot of people like to meditate. A lot of people like to move, go for a walk. These are also forms of working on yourself and being self-aware. That's very important, yeah.
Also introspection.
Sure. Always. Always. But introspection is something I think you can't do it by yourself. No, you need some... You can introspect, of course, I understand. But at the same time, we need to discuss it with somebody else to understand where you're going wrong, what can be better. It's always nice to have a third person's perspective. Somebody you trust could be, or could be a new person. But I think it's always better when you have somebody else.
So you do believe in speaking to someone when you're struggling?
Sure. Yeah. 100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I think, but now everybody is, no? Isn't everybody talk? No?
It's getting
Isn't
better.
therapy a thing?
It's getting better,
Yeah.
but not everybody. I don't need a therapist. I'm not ill. I'm not mad.
Oh.
It's still intangible.
Or people think that, they feel, okay.
Yeah.
good.
You can't see the depression
Yeah.
or the anxiety or the sadness.
Yeah, so they think they're okay. If they go, then people will think they're mad.
Yeah, or I have to accept that I'm going through something, right? If I'm failing,
But aren't we all going through something or the other?
oh, of course.
So then, of course you are. Or, I mean, not you essentially right now, but I'm saying in life, we're all going through something or the other.
Yeah.
But again, at the same time, I don't see everybody should go to therapy, because even if you speak to your wife, your partner, whatever, your mother or your closest friend, that also could be a form of therapy. You know, but they're not trained to be.
That's
I get it.
therapeutic.
Therapeutic. They're not trained to be
Yeah.
your therapist, because they might be sillier than you are, and then give you even worse advice, and then you'll all just be in one boat, go to La La
I
Land.
give advice to someone I'm emotional about.
Uh-huh.
When I'm emotional
Yeah.
about a person and they want perspective,
Is the worst perspective.
I want to go and beat up the person who's troubling them.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no perspective. It's like,
And it's like you are right. सब गलत.
I love you. We're all us can
चले
be lost.
छोड़ के आते हैं. घर कहाँ है?
Correct.
I know, you're right.
And then in therapy, I'm just so aligned, third perspective, empathy in its truest sense.
Yeah.
So I draw very strong boundaries when it comes to therapy for people I love, I care for, and when I am invested emotionally.
Very good point. Yeah.
And if I get too invested with my clients, I try and request them to start seeing someone else. I do the integration. It's a process, because I find myself now wanting to rescue them. I find myself dreaming about them, especially if they're children. Then I want to go and shout at their parents. I
So then you tell them then you tell them that we shouldn't continue.
Then I explain to them that I'm feeling emotional and I'm feeling like a very deep bond with you.
Wow.
And I feel like I'm losing perspective. And we work through it together.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I mean, if you're emotionally really invested in your whatever friend or client for that matter, after a certain point, it needs to change them, because your input probably won't be that fair. It'll be like very biased.
It'll be biased. And a biased input is harmful to the person I'm working with. Chalo, phod dete hain. That's exactly what...
Well, you're right. That's actually, therapeutic, not therapy. Speaking to a close associate. Yeah.
You're someone who's very much in touch with your inner self.
Yeah.
And you have your external expectations and you have your inner self.
Right.
How do you create that balance between the expectations, the performance that's expected out of you,
Right.
and your true inner self, which you're very much incasted? I can see that.
Right.
There has to be a balance that I'm maintaining
Right.
to show up correctly.
Right. But when you say external expectations, you mean in terms of the public persona or
Performance.
Performance.
You're a performer.
Right. So then, like I said, if I'm not feeling that great within, firstly, I voice it. But then it's unprofessional to show up on set and be like, I am not feeling great. I need 10 hours. You can't do that. So you need to have a form of feeling better. You need to know what's going to work the best for you. Do you need that 8-hour sleep? In my case, that also works. Trust me. Sometimes when I'm not well rested, I have more questions in my head and nothing feels right. But when I'm well rested and when I have moved, for me, physical movement is so important. When I'm, like I said, when I'm traveling, because there's so many daily steps, essentially your happiness hormones are on a go. You're feeling better. But when you're living in a city like Bombay or Mumbai, you're hardly walking here. Like you're always driving. So I make sure I wake up in the morning and for a busy day on set, I have to go and physically move in the morning to let the happiness flow through the body for the rest of the day. So that's how I think I find a balance. Like if I'm not feeling that great, I'll do things to feel better and then show up.
And if you don't want to do something, like you're expected to do something, but your inner self is saying no.
Then I won't do it. You mean if I'm supposed to do something at work?
Yeah.
No.
You don't.
If I'm not feeling comfortable and I have the right reasons. No, if it's like something that is not asked from me and like it suddenly popped up. Well, no, I'm not going to like tell the inner child to wake up and do it. No, if it's justified, I will do it. I'll push myself, of course. But if it's not justified, I won't do it.
So your self-preservatory skills are good.
I would like to believe
On
that.
point.
Yeah, but I have a problem. I can't essentially easily say a no. Now I've learned that, but a few years ago I couldn't say no. Like I'll feel very like, oh, if I say no, it could be something very stupid, like say your very close friend asking you, hey, let's go for this 11 p.m. movie show, right? Very silly, very day-to-day, very random. Now I can say, no, I want to sleep, I have an early morning, or I'm not interested in watching this movie. Early, I'll be like, no, she'll feel bad. Am I being a bad human being? No. Okay, yes, let's go. So now at least I've learned to say no even for the smallest things, because, yeah, when you say a no, actually you're not saying it out of not the right justification. Sometimes you have to preserve your energy also, have your rhythm as well, have your scheduling as well to do better in life. Yeah.
So now you don't want to please people too much.
No, but I was never too much of a people pleaser. But when it comes to friends and family and people I care about, then I was a little bit of a pleaser. Yeah. Then I'm like, acha, ab to wo bhi thoda maine kam kar diya. But otherwise, people pleaser, no. In fact, I'll tell you one thing. If in a room, and this is 100% honest, like I'm obsessed with Bansali as a filmmaker, right? But if he was in the room, I would probably go and tell him, sir, I love your work. But it'll end there. Like I met him at IFA, I probably said that like 4 years ago. But I'm not somebody who's going to go there and be like, sir, love your work, you are God, you are the Devta. A lot of people do that. But if I see a waiter or a server or a helper who's here, who's made nice coffee, I'll matlab taifo ke pull. He's not going to do anything for me in return. But I want him to feel better. I want him to feel good about his job. And if I see he's put in his heart, and if he's just smiled at me and given me coffee, in this very tough city, because there's so many people, I'll be very nice to him. So I don't like to, lick people and ego massage and all of that. No. So I've never been a people pleaser essentially. But with my close people, I'm the foot mat.
It's okay. Sometimes we can.
Yeah, maybe.
Sometimes we can.
Yeah.
But kindness, right?
Kindness.
It's so basic.
100%.
It creates a chain of love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And I think you should be kind to people who can't do anything for you in return. If you are kind to the top filmmaker, or if you're kind to the top, whatever your job is, or your boss, then you're not just kind. You're just a shana. Kind is when you're just nice to people. Just when you enter a lift and you just say hello nicely to an old lady, because that's not a young girl who's beautifully dressed and you're just trying to see, mere hi building mein rehti hai, kahan rehti hai, hello, how, wo sab, right? When you're just being nice to an old lady and like, or an old man, or like somebody who are not really, there's not an agenda behind it, that's kindness. Yeah.
I also feel like it's being kind to yourself when you're genuinely kind. You're giving yourself the space to just feel and be and uplift your own energy.
That I learned recently. Earlier, I wouldn't talk to myself very pleasantly. Not that I go keep talking to myself, but how sometimes you're like, oh man, you're such a silly cow. Oof, kya kiya ye? Like randomly. Now I'm like, no, you are great. Very nice.
Yeah.
तुम तो बहुत बढ़िया काम कर रहे हो. Yeah, now starting that. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
I've started saying sorry.
Ah, that's nice.
When I'm changing the script, I sometimes find it fake.
Uh-huh.
So I say, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
It's automatically reducing.
Nice.
And I'm saying less sorry externally and more sorry internally now.
Sure. Yeah.
That has reduced my external sorries.
Sure. And sometimes our external sorries तो just ऐसे ही हवा में I've seen. कुछ लोगों को तो मेरे को भी कुछ साल पहले आदत ही थी ऐसी sorry बोलते रहने की. Sometimes the other person is at fault, but you're still saying sorry. So that also is important to evaluate because sorry should mean something. If you say sorry, it shouldn't be like कि हवा में ही तो बोला था.
Sorry means action, not just words.
Sure. Yeah, great. Yeah, it means action. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I say sorry, there's an act that is coupling with the sorry.
That I wouldn't repeat this properly is the idea that I'm sorry about this. That doesn't mean that you make it a pattern कि यही करते रहो और sorry बोलते रहो. It's not only about, it sounds very relationship centric, but in life.
Yeah.
Sometimes you always do the right thing and just say sorry. But pata hai ki next time I'll do it again, but I'll say sorry. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Have your sorries reduced after you've started saying more no's?
Yeah. I think it's all interrelated, right? Yeah. I think so.
So many verticals.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Tell me about a time you faced any form of heartbreak. Personal, career, friendship, anything.
Many times. I'm essentially a sensitive man. Like I'm reasonably sensitive, emotional. So many times, many a times. My biggest heartbreak would be when I was not cancelled. Like when I booked like an interesting film, and it didn't come to me later, and it went to somebody else. It's very small a thing for somebody else, but for me that was a very major, interesting feature film. Nobody saw that film when it came out. That's okay. So in a way, it's fine. And personally, I feel the maximum heartbreak when I have a little bit of a fight with my mom or my dad or my sister. Relationship-wise, I was in my longest relationship was 4 years. And that was back in, after college, I would say. So when that ended, because I was younger also, right? So you're like, oh shit, ये तो अभी बहुत बड़ी problem हो गई है, life is over. Because you're so dependent at that time. You feel, because that's your best friend, you're doing everything with her and everything's on autopilot. And smaller things matter more then.
Yeah.
Right now, if you see, I'm essentially hooked on to the bigger things also, right? Like bigger goals.
Yeah.
कि अरे ये तो होना चाहिए, नहीं ये इसने ये क्यों नहीं लिखा मेरे बारे में, इसमें why am I not in this list of best dressed? Or it could be very frivolous and very superficial, but for you that's work and you think this is it, end of the world. But when you're younger, smaller things also bring you more joy. They still do. Small things bring joy to me even now, of course, like they should. But then when a relationship finishes, you feel like it's a very big fuck
And
up,
heartbreak
but it's
doesn't have an age. Come
Yeah.
on.
It can
matters
be,
of
but
the heart.
Yeah.
Heart-
I still feel now I deal with heartbreaks better.
Of course.
I think I've learned with life,
we
yeah.
learn.
And I feel essentially, if you talk about personal relationships, or if you talk about romantic relationships, or other than your blood, you have to see 90% of the janta is very
It's very...
heartless, I would say. Not everybody is very sensitive or in touch with their inner self or is very emotional. People sometimes everything's very agenda driven. Everything's very like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you have to do good for others, and if something great does not happen later, that's okay.
Do you think like this heartless, agenda-driven, or I'd like to add the word fearful approach to matters of the heart comes as you grow older?
Could-
Is it there in the older generation more compared to the younger lot?
Oh, you mean when it's agenda driven?
Generally, to be able to trust relationships or agenda-driven friendships or...
100%. 100%. But when you say older, I don't mean 60 plus.
No.
Yeah, I mean like working, yeah. 100%. People are always trying to form relationships or partnerships that are actually relationships, but they're actually partnerships, work partnerships or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's more in the 30s or even 20s for that matter, like late 20s.
20s,
Yeah, because
yeah.
now some of the kids are working on their 20, 21. So by the time they're 28, 29, they're already like in their 30s work-wise. Or 40s. I think, yeah, it's more agenda driven. Everybody's trying to like form alliances, if you can call it that. Yeah. That's why there are so many open relationships if you see around us.
Yeah.
I didn't see that like 5 years ago. Now, not that anybody's come to me कि जी हमारा open relationship है, आप भी आ जाओ हमारे साथ. Not that, but I've seen people being very chill about this. That we are in an open relationship and she's okay, I'm okay, or whatever. And
Do you think it could be fear-based? Having open relationships or partnerships that are agenda-driven?
no, I don't think it's fear. Fear of what? Of losing each other?
Fear of vulnerability, fear of getting hurt, fear of being abandoned, fear of being left alone to survive, fear of dependency. Like, I'm done being hurt now because I'm in my late 20s, 30s, 40s.
Yeah.
And I also don't think I can survive in the city now because of the pressure, rent, income. So let's formulate a partnership and not give in to my emotional feelings of love, because then it's hurt and pain, emotions and abandonment and betrayal that I have to deal with.
I had never thought about it like that, but maybe now when you say it does make sense. Could be a fear of abandonment, could be a fear of being by yourself, alone, like you said, or to deal with heartbreak later. So chalo, at least you have a full-fledged partner or a relationship, and then you can do whatever on the side. So maybe it's that. I had never thought of it like that. But I've never been into the idea of open relationships or
Nor am I. I don't condone it.
Yeah.
And I don't.
I think if you're single, if you're by yourself, and go dance around the city. But I mean, if you're with somebody, then if you're going to do pure shahar mein dindora and then come back, then how are you in a relate? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me.
It's an arrangement.
Very strange arrangement. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I don't think I could ever be in an open relationship. Makes no sense. And I would rather chill.
I think it would give me more anxiety than security.
Exactly, anxiety.
But it's okay, each to his own.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I would be fearful if I was in an open relationship.
Yeah.
But talking about fear, is there anything that you're fearful of today?
I'm actually, it sounds repetitive, but I'm very fearful of leaving of losing my family. Like, say, I don't like the idea of not being around them or having them around you. Not essentially in the same city, but I want them to be there. I want to be able to pick a phone and call them and, to hear the voice. So I don't want to lose my very close people. That's something but that's not something that I've developed today, that, I'm fearful of losing my parents. It's always been there. Yeah, like it should if you're close to them.
You also said you see your parents as your children.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Do you have that approach towards most of your close relationships?
Yeah, I think so.
Very protective.
Yeah.
Very loyal, umbrella, come.
Sort of.
I've got you.
Sort of, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I have probably got it from them.
And besides your parents, who's the one in front of whom your protective layers kind of shrink down and you're able to be completely and fully vulnerable, childlike, free, boy, playful?
So I have 2-3 very close friends. Essentially, I'm 99.9% authentic in front of them. And I'm very blessed to have them in my life, because in Bombay, it's very difficult to have those very close friends, and they're all from entertainment. And so, yeah, I'm very lucky to have them.
Yeah. It's so important. The fourth pillar that we spoke about.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It's key. So through these moments of acceptance, rejection, like you felt cancelled when you didn't get taken in that film, right? sometimes we don't get cancelled externally. We just cancel ourselves.
For sure.
Like, was I not worth it? Didn't I deserve it? So that's also a self-cancellation.
Right.
So cancellation, acceptance, cancellation. It's just the journey of our life.
Yeah.
It's like the graph of a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
What is it that keeps you going? Is it your relationships that takes you through this up-down graph? Or do you at any point self-isolate and cope with your feelings?
Honestly, it's the rhythm that I've developed in my life that keeps me going. I don't think anybody else can help me feel great or feel good all the time. It's my rhythm, my discipline. I'm essentially disciplined enough. And I have my routine. I stick to it. And my physical movement is so important. So it's not that externally I'm trying to like rely on people to feel accepted. And like you said, essentially I can only cancel myself from within and then I have to accept myself. But to not go through that graph so many times, I try to at least have a baseline correct, which is my rhythm is always there.
Discipline is one of the healthiest coping mechanisms
Right?
in life.
Yeah. Because then you these are very small tick marks, but then you feel like, oh, you're doing good.
Yeah.
Right? It could be something as small as eating healthy, man. Like it could be something as small as your daily steps. Or even reading that book, like just 4 pages. In the middle, actually, I'd quit smoking cigarettes and I'd started vaping like a teenager, like too much. I still do, but not like a teenager now at least. So I told myself I have to read 5 to 6 pages every day.
Wow.
In the evening, and there was this book about self-care. Then I can have 2 puffs. So, again, and then I did that and had those two puffs. I was like, okay.
You earned it.
I earned it. Yeah, something very small, 6 pages, right?
Lovely.
Like, so these are the little things that I think sometimes can help you. Yeah.
And discipline is unchanging, success or failure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, even if you're at the lowest point of your life and if you've decided, no, I have to put in these many daily steps, when you'll do it, you feel like a tiny, but at least a sense of achievement. You'll feel like, hey, it happened. See, you did this. Yeah. So I think that helps.
I feel like I have failed a few times in my life.
Yeah.
But I have received gifts from it. And the best gifts that I have received in my life are from failure, not success. Have you received any gifts from failure?
I wouldn't call it a gift. That'll be but I would call it a healthy lesson. Like a healthy lesson. Like recently, I was on a show and what happened to me on a reality show, I was never okay doing reality. I still am not. So you will not see me on Big Boss. But never. But
फिर शादी कब करोगी? Gus कब?
yeah, man. But what happened to me on that show was a very big life lesson. So I wouldn't call it a gift. I would have been very happy without that life lesson. But yeah, it did teach me a few things. Every time when you go through a very low phase in your life, you learn a few things that could actually be great lessons.
Yeah.
And it changes a part of you.
Yeah, it does.
And then you're just like a different person. Right? Like, I don't know how to put it very nicely, but yeah, you're just a new person. Not a new person, but you're just like a different version of yourself.
When you fail, you reach a dead end.
Yeah.
Or you've fallen off a cliff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the only choice you have is to either climb back up
Yeah.
or try and find a new pathway out.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
Makes sense. Yeah.
you two exist.
Yeah.
This brain exists, or this resilience exists, or this strength exists, or this confidence exists, because I never thought I'd be able to get through it.
Right.
That's where the exchange occurs.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. If you had to share some words of wisdom and give a Sahil anchor to the listeners, what would you give them?
Words of wisdom. Like I don't know if they're really words of wisdom, to be honest, but this is something that works for me. Like I said, have your basic rhythm in life. That I won't fall lower than this. If I promise myself I'll do these 3-4 small, tiny ass things or tiny things in life every day to feel like myself, you must do them. No matter how bad you're feeling, how low you are. Because then these are the things that will help you go further or navigate better or just go along. Yeah, so have your basic rhythm, your basic discipline. I'm not saying be an athlete or be like this Because some days you just can't push yourself too much. But
Yeah.
have a basic bare minimum that this much I'll do every day.
Yeah.
And that will help you get on to greater things.
So you're always keeping yourself anchored and rooted to a particular thing. I'll never fly off. Right? Is that what you're saying?
Sure.
Your rhythm?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you never, more than like flying off to greater things, I won't really crash.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like I would say if you're not going to stick to your basic rhythm, you might just crash because you just be in a constant loop of feeling cancer or feeling not great but when you do your basic things that are a part of your essential routine, which are for your well-being, you'll not crash, hopefully.
Or you don't lose control like a balloon, and, gas balloon. Just like,
Yeah, exactly. All of them exactly. Yeah.
It gives you a sense of control.
100%.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
100%. And I think that's so important. You are somebody who can really control your inner being, your inner self, essentially. Nobody else can do that for you.
Yeah.
Only you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to remember you in the gym tomorrow because I haven't worked out in 2 months.
Yes. So tomorrow
This
is
is what I'm taking back from you.
yeah, for the release of happy hormones. Yeah.
Yeah, I've just been working and not exercising. So this is what I'm taking home from you today.
Right.
All of you, go to the gym.
You go to the end, but okay, done.
Lovely. One last question for you. If you had to describe your crown,
Yeah.
okay, minus your work, minus your identities in your relationships, son, friend, all of it, just you, what would it contain?
Wow. Can it be a bunch of things?
It can be whatever you'd like it to be.
My crown. Wow.
Your crown, your inner crown, not this.
Yeah.
Like your inner unshakable crown.
I would say my basic core values, which have been with me since the day I've been around here on this planet, essentially. Yeah. And for me, loyalty is very important. Kindness sounds cliche, but it's very important.
Yeah.
Be kind to people who are not of any use to you. That's kindness. And yeah, just being disciplined and having a rhythm. So these are the things essentially that'll always be a part of my inner self.
I love that.
Yeah.
Your core values.
Yes. Core values, and they can change also, but there should be certain values that should stick with you through your life.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Of course, you can add more, but yeah.
And you can even modify your core values.
Yeah.
But it's your core.
Yeah.
It's the essence of your being.
Yeah. Yeah. Like earlier, back in the day, like I said, a few years back, maybe, for me, saying a no was very difficult, right? So, to my close friends, now I still do. So that core value has changed. Now, I'm not always trying to make my closest people happy. It's also about me being happy, right? Because if I'm going to feel happy and fulfilled and content or whatever it's called, like feel full about myself, like in terms of my emotions, then I can be nicer to my other people.
Has your core value changed or has it reframed its self?
I would say reframe, not really change. The base is there, right? Like you're still somebody who's going to be doing things for others. Could be a giver or whatever it's called. Like,
Yeah.
you like to see your closest people happy. It's still the same.
Loyalty is your core value. That's why you can't say no. Because we established it's not people pleasing.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Now you've just taken that loyalty.
In fact, people pleasing, it can't be because I love to take pange with people who are like, matlab, 30 saal se in the business. I love it. Like, I'm that guy, I'm like, main ye bolunga. You know what I'm saying? If I feel
Correct.
somebody is stupid and is like makes no sense, then I would say it. Like, so obviously it's not people pleasing.
Correct.
I'm the last person to people please.
Correct.
But loyalty wise, yes. And yeah.
So you've also taken that same loyalty, which is your core value,
Yeah.
and gifted a part of it to yourself.
Sure.
That's why you're being able to say no.
Maybe now I'm being loyal to myself. Yeah. Which I should be, like which we all should be.
Yes.
Essentially, our priority should be inner work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, in the middle, I used to get confused. Self-care is so important, but it shouldn't come at the cost of playing with other people's hearts or mind or whatever, right? So I think self-care is very good, but at the same time, when you are with your people, it's important to find a balance.
Yeah.
Everything can't just be about self-care. It has to be about self-care and caring about people you love.
Yeah.
So you have to find a balance.
That's also self-care, right?
Yeah, in a way, it should be, but but sometimes we confuse it. Like you said, it 100% is. When you are taking care of people who are closest to you, it is self-care in a way.
Yeah.
But in the middle, I think I'd started confusing that. And a lot of people do confuse that.
The spectrum is 0 to 10.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen the diagram.
Yeah.
It goes from 0 to 10
Right,
to 5.
right.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
It never goes to 5 directly. You have to experience the two extremes to be able to find your balance.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So you go from codependent to hyper-independence to interdependence. You're like, oh, this is not working.
Yeah.
I hate people. The world betrayed me. I will only take care of myself. Oh, it's not working.
Yeah.
I need people as well.
100%.
So usually that's the movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In life, balance is the key for everything. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Beautiful balance that you offered us today of your inner being, your softness, your strength, your good looks, all of it, your sense of fashion, your vulnerability.
Yes, thank you.
We appreciate it from the bottom of our heart.
Thank you. It was such a pleasure. And I think I've learned so much from you today. So thank
That's
you.
right. Thank you.
All right.
So this is a self-love card that we give our guests to encourage them to love themselves
Oh, wow.
and then create a chain. So do an act of self-love and give it to the next person and encourage them to
Good.
love themselves and pass it on further.
Thank you so much. I love this.
Yeah.
I will keep it very close to my. Shall I read it?
You're most welcome to.
Okay. Hey you, if this card found its way to you, which it has, trust that it's a sign. Not to do something specific, but to do something sacredly yours. There are a million ways to come home to yourself. Maybe today it's a slow walk, a long cry, a new boundary, a small joy, whatever feels like truth. Whatever reminds you you are enough.
Yes.
Very nice. When you've given something back to yourself, pass this card on. Let the love ripple. Pass the crown on with warmth, Sohini. Love this. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, we should all feel we are enough. Yeah.
Yeah, right? You're enough. Period.
Period.
Full stop.
Yeah.
No
More than
questions
enough.
asked. Spectacular.
Brilliant. Yeah.
And that's a token of our gratitude.
Oh, thank you.
It's our way of
Thank you.
crowning you for all that you are, have achieved, and shared with us today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Thanks.